Hello, could you speak on the
Oh, yeah, let's hear it.
could you speak on the batch and real-time processing?
Oh, we would love to. Real-time processing is such a fundamental shift from traditional methods.
Yeah, it's basically the instant gratification version of data handling.
Exactly. What's fascinating here is that there are no time lags between the event and the processing.
So unlike batch processing where things sit in a pile,
Yep, go on.
So it's like periodic versus what's the other one?
spot on, you nailed it. Batching is definitely periodic.
Exactly. What is fascinating here is that the period could be minutes or even weeks.
So those transactions just sit in a pile until that specific period is up.
Precisely. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it creates a time lag.
Unlike that instant gratification of real time we were just talking about, right?
Right. Real time and oh, yeah, uh-huh.
Okay, so like, what is data coding schemes?
That's a brilliant question to pivot to because coding schemes are the language systems used to organize everything.
Okay, let's unpack this. Basically, coding is just how we label data so the computer understands it, right?
Exactly. What's fascinating here is that there are different styles, like sequential coding, which just follows a numerical order.
So like pre-numbered sales orders, that makes it super easy to see if a document is missing.
Precisely. But then you have block codes, which are used for things.
Oh, go for it.
So like, what is alphanumeric? Is that what is that?
That is a very catch. Alphanumeric is just a fancy way of saying a mix of letters and numbers.
Oh, like when a website forces you to use a capital letter and a number in your password.
Exactly. Using both. Oh, go for it.
I still don't understand what it is. Like, what is data coding exactly? Sorry, like, what does that mean? What is it?
No need to apologize at all. We're here to clear that up for you.
Yeah, think of data coding like a shortcut or a nickname for information.
Exactly. Imagine if a clerk had to type out a whole description every time.
Like typing blue ergonomic office chair over and over. That sounds exhausting.
It is. So instead, we give it a code like CHBL01.
Okay, let's unpack that. It's basically a shorthand to help the computer organize things.
Precisely. And using those alphanumeric characters we mentioned makes those codes much more flexible.
Right, because you have all the letters and the digits to play with.
Definitely. You can embed letters within numeric codes to represent very diverse data.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Doesn't it make sorting harder?
It can be. Humans often struggle to sort letters as fast as numbers.
Okay, so how does this fit with those block codes?
Oh, yeah, uh-huh.
Is this like within the database itself, or are you saying like they have like some other way to?
That is a great question. It is actually both, if you think about it.
So the code exists in the system and is stored right in the database.
Exactly. These codes are the attributes that define the records within the database files.
Like how a specific alphanumeric code would live inside a master file for inventory.
Precisely. The code is the nickname the computer actually stores to represent the item.
Okay, let's unpack how those codes look, starting with the block codes we mentioned.
Block codes can be alphanumeric too, especially in something like a chart of accounts.
Right, where a specific range is reserved for assets and another for liabilities.
Exactly. It lets you add new accounts without renumbering the whole database from scratch.
That makes sense. What about codes that actually mean something, like those mnemonics?
Mnemonic codes are fantastic because they use letters as acronyms for the actual item.
So instead of a random string, you might see ACCT for accounting.
Precise for. It is.
Ah, yeah, uh-huh.
So like this coding system is used. Um,
Oh, yeah, uh-huh.
so like it all of these like alphanumeric or like block codes. These are all sequential coding.
What is fascinating here is that they are actually distinct categories with very different goals.
Okay, let's unpack this. Sequential coding is just about the order, like 1, 2, 3.
Exactly. It's great for spotting gaps in a sequence, like missing sales orders.
But block codes are more about putting things in buckets, right? Like specific ranges for assets.
Precisely. If we connect this to the bigger picture, alphanumeric is just the alphabet you use.
So you could have a sequential code that is alphanumeric, but they aren't the same thing.
Exactly. It is about how the information is organized, not just the characters used.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Those mnemonic codes we mentioned earlier provide immediate meaning.
They do. It is much easier for a person to remember than just random digits.
Then you have group codes, which sound like they get a bit more complex.
They do. Group codes use specific zones or fields to represent data in a hierarchical way.
That sounds like it would make searching the database for detailed reports way easier.
It does, but we have to connect this back to how we actually process them.
Right. Whether it is a mnemonic or a group code, someone still has to enter it.
Exactly. This raises an important question about how we control those human inputs to prevent errors.
That is a perfect teaser for our next deep dive into internal controls and audit trails.
We hope this helped clear up the different ways systems talk.
Oh, back to our listener. What's up?
So what is the processes and controls for revenue, expenditure, and general ledger transaction cycles using business information systems?
That is the perfect segue into our next deep dive.
It really is. I think you mean the general ledger cycle.
Easy mistake to make, but let's unpack the big three cycles, starting with revenue.
What's fascinating here is that the revenue cycle is split into two distinct phases.
Right, the physical phase of shipping goods and the financial phase of getting paid.
Exactly. And to keep things safe, we use physical controls like segregation of duties.
Like making sure the person handling the cash isn't also updating the accounting records.
Precisely. While IT controls use things like automated credit checks to authorize a sale.
Now, the expenditure cycle is basically the flip side of that, right?
It is, and it focuses on purchases and cash disbursements to our vendors.
Here is where it gets really interesting, specifically with that three-way match we mentioned.
That's a key control where we reconcile the purchase order, receiving report, and invoice.
So we ensure we only pay for what we actually ordered and received,
Exactly. And finally, all this data flows into the general ledger system.
which acts as the central hub for all the company's financial reporting.
This raises an important question about how we keep that central hub secure.
We use journal vouchers as a control, so every entry requires a manager's approval.
And we maintain a rich audit trail to track every transaction's path.
Wow, we really covered the whole map of business information systems today.
We did, and we hope this helps you visualize how these systems stay balanced.
Thanks for joining the conversation and asking such great questions.
Hey, yeah, what's up?
So what is the revenue cycle?
Oh, we would love to dive deeper into that for you.
Think of the revenue cycle as the heartbeat of a business.
It's essentially the process of exchanging goods or services for cold, hard cash.
What's fascinating here is that it usually happens in two distinct phases.
Right, like we mentioned, you have the physical part and the financial part.
Exactly. The physical phase is where the goods actually leave the warehouse.
And the financial phase is that sweet moment when the cash finally arrives.
For most businesses, there is a time lag because they sell things on credit.
So it's not just a quick swap at a register.
Not at all, which is why we have subsystems like sales order processing.
Okay, let's unpack that. It starts the moment a customer places an order.
Precisely. And then a crucial control step happens, the credit check.
Because we don't want to ship things to people who won't pay, right?
Exactly. That keeps the risk of bad debt under control.
Then comes shipping the product and finally sending out the bill,
Each step generates documents like a bill of lading or a sales invoice.
which then helps the accounting team update the inventory and accounts receivable records.
If a customer returns something, we even have a process for that.
Oh, like a reverse cycle with credit memos and return slips.
Precisely, to ensure the records stay perfectly balanced after the return.
It's like a huge puzzle where every piece has to fit.
This helps you see why those internal controls we mentioned are so vital.
That was a fantastic question to end on. It really tie everything together. Oh, yeah. Go on.
So like, could you really talk more about the revenue cycle, like what exactly it is?
You know, we can definitely go deeper because there is so much moving under the hood.
It really is a complex machine with two main engines. sales order processing and cash receipts.
Okay, let's unpack that first engine, the sales order, which handles the physical side of things.
What's fascinating here is how many documents are created to make sure the right person gets their stuff.
Right, like when shipping creates a bill of lading, which is basically a contract with the shipper.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
So does both the conceptual and physical part of the revenue cycle have those two systems in place, like the sales order and the cash receipt subsystems?
That is a brilliant observation. You really are tracking with us.
You've hit on a key distinction in how we look at these systems.
Okay, let's unpack this. Both the sales order and cash receipts subsystems exist in both worlds.
Exactly. Conceptually, they represent the logical tasks that have to happen no matter what.
Like you always need to verify that you actually have the inventory in stock.
Precisely. That's the conceptual goal, whether it is done by a human or a computer.
But the physical part is where the actual technology or specific human steps come into play.
Right. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's about what we do versus how.
So in a basic physical system, a clerk might manually reconcile a shipping notice.
Whereas in an integrated system, the computer might automatically match that notice to the order.
That brings us to our second engine, the cash receipts subsystem, which handles the money.
What is fascinating here is how the physical setup in the mace room starts the process.
They receive those remittance advices, which are basically the who paid what slips.
Exactly. Even conceptually, we need to know which specific invoice is being settled.
So it's not just getting paid, it's about accurately updating that specific customer's balance.
Precisely. This ensures the accounts receivable records stay totally in sync with the cash.
And all of this eventually flows into that central hub we keep mentioning, the general ledger.
This is why those physical and IT controls we... Oh yeah, let's hear it.
So, like, conceptually, although both,
Yep, go on.
like, the conceptual and the physical part, there's, like, parts of, like, the sales order processing
Oh yeah, uh-huh.
and cash receipt parts of it.
Oh, go for it.
So, like, conceptually, like, the sales order procedure, what would that do? What would that be?
Oh, go for it.
And like conceptually means like, for example, they would receive it on a computer or something.
Oh, I see where you're going with that. It's actually a little different than you might think.
Right. Conceptually means the logical flow of information, no matter what technology we happen to use.
So even if we were using stone tablets, the conceptual steps would stay the same.
Exactly. A conceptual sales order means we must check credit before shipping any goods.
Here's where it gets really interesting.
Oh, yeah, uh-huh.
So conceptually you're like, oh, let's check the credit, and then like physically you actually go and like run the credit check.
Spot on. You've captured the essence of the distinction perfectly.
Yeah, you nailed it with that example of the credit check.
Conceptually, the rule is that credit must be authorized before the sale proceeds.
So that's the logic, the what, that has to happen every time.
Exactly. And then the physical side is the how we actually do it.
Like physically, that might be a clerk looking at a paper file.
Or it could be a computer algorithm checking a database in milliseconds.
Here's where it gets really interesting. The logic is identical in both cases.
Precisely. The physical part is simply the tool we choose to use.
So whether it's a human or a high-tech server, the conceptual blueprint stays.
That's a perfect way to put it. It's the plan versus the...
Ah, yeah, uh-huh.
Okay, so like the first step in the conceptual part of the sales order procedure would be to like receive the order.
You nailed it. Receiving the order is exactly where the conceptual journey begins.
It's the first operational stage. We take that raw customer order and transcribe it into a formal sales order.
Okay, let's unpack this. So we're just capturing the name, address, and what they want to buy.
Precisely. What's fascinating here is that this document then triggers everything else we talked about.
Like that credit check we mentioned, it can't happen without the sales order info first.
Exactly. The sales order acts as the blueprint for picking the goods and eventually billing the customer.
So conceptually, receiving the order is just setting the whole machine in motion.
It really is. It's the plan that dictates the action later in the physical phase.
This is why those physical and IT controls are so vital from the very first step.
They ensure that no matter how we receive that order, the business rules are strictly followed.
Like making sure the person receiving the order isn't the same person approving the credit.
Exactly. It keeps the records honest and ensures the whole revenue cycle runs smoothly.
Wow, we really dug deep into the guts of these. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
But like physically, so like the physical part,
Oh, back to our listener. What's up?
like for example, the fulfillment part wouldn't be part of the physical part of the revenue cycle. It would be more about like the financial physical part
Hey, yeah, what's up?
where they like receive checks, for example, like physical checks, or like they wouldn't really handle inventory.
You're right on the money with that distinction about the physical check handling.
Yeah, that's where the mailroom comes into play, right?
Exactly. Physically, a mailroom clerk opens those envelopes and reconciles the checks.
So they're dealing with the payments, but oh, yeah. Go on.
So like this revenue cycle, is this sort of like just
Oh, yeah. Let's hear it.
is this sort of like the gist of it, or is there like an actual um
Oh, yeah, let's hear it.
so this is like the things within the cycle, but like it doesn't necessarily mean like the system.
Yep, go on.
It's not necessarily like the system is there already. Like this is like this things that happen regardless if the system is there. Like as in like a computer system, they would still do this. Like if it was like paper, for example.
You hit the nail on the head. That is the heart of the general model.
So it is like a blueprint of what needs to happen, even with pen and paper.
Exactly. What's fascinating here is that this model applies regardless of the underlying technology.
Okay, let's unpack this. Whether it's a mainframe or a ledger, it starts with data collection.
Right, that's the first operational stage where transactions enter from internal or external sources.
Then comes the heavy lifting, data processing, which manages those day-to-day transactions.
And we can't forget database management. All that information has to be stored somewhere.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Even in a physical file cabinet, data has structure.
Precisely. We connect individual data attributes to form records, which then build up into files.
So the physical fulfillment and cache handling we mentioned are just parts of that flow.
Right, and it leads to information generation, compiling, and presenting that data to the users.
This has been such a deep dive into how businesses actually keep the lights on.
It really has. We hope this look at the general model helps everything click